Good evening, my children. It's just a Christmas edition. There we go. My goodness, we seem to have even more tonight than we had yesterday. Leg. Gotta love the leg. Oh yeah. So who do we have in our top three? The three who wish to be extra close to the Reaper this evening. Stephanie Nicole. Hello. Anthony Lynch. Truly in the spirit. And Decadent 7. You know, Decadent 7, if you keep doing what you're doing, you will see me very soon. Very well then. Shall we begin? Are you ready to hear what the Reaper has to tell you this evening? Tonight, we have some very special selections. A traditional French ghost story and an urban legend. Let us begin. Our first tale this evening is an urban legend. It is entitled High Beams. Julie left the college library late one evening after many hours of studying. She crossed the parking lot to her car, unlocked it, and put her stack of books on the passenger seat. Counting the books, she realized she left one inside the library on the checkout desk. So she closed the car door and ran back into the building. A minute later, she came back out with the missing book in her hand. She got into the driver's seat of the car and tossed the book onto the pile with the others. Then she started the car and pulled out onto the road. She had a long drive ahead of her. A while later, she stopped at a red light. A pickup truck stopped beside her, but she hardly noticed it. Tapping her fingers on the steering wheel, she waited for the light to change. Suddenly, the pickup driver honked. Julie jumped in her seat, startled. She looked around, but they were the only two cars at the intersection. So she realized he must be honking at her for some reason. She tried to catch a glimpse of the truck's driver, but his windows were much higher than hers, and she couldn't see into the truck at all. Why did he honk at me? I didn't do anything, Julie mumbled, annoyed at how startled. The light turned green, and Julie continued on her way. She turned onto the highway. She had almost forgotten about the pickup truck, but without warning, her car was flooded with light from behind. Squinting into the rearview mirror, Julie could just barely make out the same pickup truck that had honked at her at the intersection. It was right behind her with the high beams on, making it painful for her to keep looking into the mirror. Then they went off, and the truck continued driving behind her with its normal headlights on. Thank goodness, he just about blinded me with those high beams, Julie said to herself. But now she was beginning to get a little nervous about this strange driver behind her. They were the only ones on the highway at this late hour. The high beams went on again, then off. Forget this, I'm losing this guy, Julie decided. She stepped on the gas. When she checked the rearview mirror again, she could see that the pickup truck was keeping pace with her. Pressing her lips together, she focused on the road ahead and floored it. Again, another wash of white light from the pickup truck. Again, it went off. By now, Julie was definitely scared. A glance in the mirror made it clear the pickup truck was following her, and closely. But she knew she was finally nearing home. Her only hope was to outrun him. She pulled off the highway onto her street. She could see her house at the end of the block. Another flash of light told her that the truck was still on her tail. Sorry, a little bit of crypt dust there. And I lost my spot again. Yes, even the Reaper is only human, my children. Do forgive me. Okay, told her that the truck was still on her tail, but she didn't look back. Screeching her tires, Julie pulled into her driveway. She leapt out of the car and ran for the front door, almost before the car had completely stopped. She could hear the pickup squeal to a stop at the curb. Terrified now, she stumbled up onto the porch and pounded on the door in a blind panic. "Mom! Dad! Help!" she screamed. Sorry, that's my best little girl voice. As the lights went on in the house, she turned to face who she was certain would be her attacker. Sure enough, the driver of the pickup truck had sprung out of his vehicle. But as Julie was about, yanked it open and reached for something in the back seat. To Julie's astonishment, he pulled a man out of her car. The front door opened, and Julie's frightened parents joined her on the porch to witness the truck driver grappling with the strange man who had been in Julie's back seat. After a long struggle, the driver managed to punch the other man unconscious. Lagging. After a long struggle, the driver managed to punch the other man unconscious. As the pickup driver told the police later, he had seen the man with the 10-inch hunting knife hiding in Julie's back seat when they were both stopped at the intersection. He had tried to get her attention by honking at her, but she hadn't understood. So he had decided to follow her, hoping for an opportunity to help. And whenever the would-be killer had risen from his crouching position again, by turning on his high beams. The end. So my children, always take a quick glance in your back seat before driving home alone in the dead of night. Urban legends are always fascinating. One wonders Are they really legends, or is there some grain of truth? Only stupid lag. Only those who have been there know for sure is what I was trying to say. Okay, let's move on, shall we? I just need to find my bookmark. No. I apparently dropped my bookmark on the floor and the rats ran off with it. This one? No. Table of contents. I love tables of contents. 55. Here we go. Yes, Anthony, it is the evil spirits of Stickum having a little fun with us this evening. Very well, we'll just press on, shall we? Our final story for this evening is entitled The Leg. Not the lag, but the leg, as in the limb of gold. This is a traditional French ghost story. There once lived a beautiful young lady who was married to an exceedingly wealthy young lord. The lord was proud of his lovely wife and enjoyed dressing her in lavish gowns and jewels. One day, the lord came home with 3 trunks full of sparkling jewels and silk gowns. The lady ran upstairs to try on the gown, and then, as she ran back down the stairs to show her husband, the heel of her shoe caught in the hem of her dress. She toppled head first down the long, polished stairs and landed in a heap of violet silk.
Rainy, you're a cock.
Hold on one moment. I'm sorry, Zarak is not here presently. I will pass along your message to him. To continue. She toppled headfirst down the polished stairs and landed in a heap of violet silk upon the floor, her twisted strangely beneath her. The doctor was immediately summoned. After completing his examination, he looked very grave. Well, speak up, man. What is done about my wife? Cried the lord. I'm afraid, sir, that the lady's leg is broken in 7 different places. There is nothing to be done. It must be cut off, the doctor replied. That evening, the doctor set upon his task. He sawed and cut and severed the lady's leg from her body. Do not worry, my dear, the lord said the next day, when his wife had woken. I have called for the goldsmith. You have the most beautiful leg in the land. That very evening, the goldsmith rode to the lord's manor. After several moments, he returned to his shop and set about creating the most exquisite gold leg ever to be seen. The handiwork was so precise that the leg fit the lady perfectly. Soon she was running and skipping, hopping and singing, as though nothing had ever been amiss. 7 years later, the lady was once again running gaily down the stairs in a new gown, eager to show it off to her husband. Once again, however, the heel of her slip caught in the hem of her gown, and she tumbled head first down the long staircase. This time, she broke her neck and died. The Lord was distraught. He had his lady buried with her golden leg in the nearby churchyard, beneath a beautifully carved headstone. Bolts of beautiful material were ordered from China and mourning suits were created for the entire staff. The Lord's groom was dressed in expensive black satin. The groom, a handsome, egotistical fellow, thought he had never looked so elegant. As he stood in front of his mirror, admiring himself, he began to think out loud. What a dashing figure I make in this suit! I am far too handsome and elegant to be a gentleman's groom. Why shouldn't I be a gentleman? If only I had a small fortune. His eyes began to gleam mysteriously. Of course, Milady doesn't need her leg of gold any longer. Why shouldn't I have it? I could sell it and set myself up as a gentleman. She doesn't need her leg anymore. And so, his plan was hatched. That very night he threw a long cloak over his shoulders and hurried to the churchyard. It didn't take him long to dig up the coffin. He pried the top of the casket off with the edge of his shovel, and then chopped the golden leg off the lady's corpse. Then he quickly buried the lady once again, wrapping the leg of gold carefully under his long cloak. He hurried back to his room. He hid the leg of gold in his closet, and he went to bed and immediately fell into a deep sleep. The following morning, the gravekeeper was working in the churchyard. As he neared the lady's grave, he heard a voice calling, "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold!" All morning, the voice kept calling. Finally, the gravekeeper hurried to the Lord and said, "Sir, your wife is calling from the grave. I cannot do my work. You must go and see what it is that she wants." The Lord rushed down to his wife's grave and said, "My darling wife, what is it that you wish to tell me?" "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold," came the reply. "But, my dear," the Lord replied, "you already have your leg of gold. Is there nothing you wish to say to me?" But the voice only repeated, "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold." "Well, if that is all you can say, I wish you a good day. I will remember you in my prayers." And he marched back to the manor. But the voice did not stop calling all that morning. The gravedigger was distraught. He went to the Lord once again. "My Lord, your wife will not rest. Please send someone to her," he pleaded. So the Lord sent the lady's maid out to the churchyard. "What can I do for you, my lady?" the maid asked. "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold," was the reply. "But, my lady, be reasonable. You already have your leg of gold." "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold," said the voice again. So he just wasn't in the room again. And last spot. "Milady," said the maid, "you are not being fair. I cannot give you what you already have. I will pray for you this evening. Good day." The maid returned to the manor. The voice continued to call, "Gold! Gold! Give me back my leg of gold. The gravekeeper returned to the Lord. My lord, your wife keeps calling. Please, you must send someone to her, he pleaded again. The Lord turned to his groom. Go and see if you can figure out what it is she wants, he said. My lord, I cannot, the groom replied, his lips quivering. What? Will you disobey your master? Go, immediately, the Lord shouted. Please, my lord, do not ask me again. I cannot go, the groom pleaded, tears running down his face. You coward! Go at once, or you'll be dead by morning, the Lord replied angrily. The groom turned and walked to the churchyard, his heart knocking painfully against his ribs. When he reached the lady's grave, he whispered, Lady, what is it that you want? It is you that I want, screamed the lady. Suddenly, a long white ghost rose from the ground and grabbed the groom by the throat. The lady dragged him under the ground with her and ate him up, beginning with his leg. The end. The French have such a wicked sense of irony. Well, my children, thank you for joining me. I will be back again tomorrow and every night, from now till Halloween, except weekends. The Reaper needs a party, you know how it is. And that will be 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Until next time, my children, thank you for joining me. And until we meet again, pleasant nightmares.